Hello everyone, this is RU1 Talker. As you can see in the bottom left, this is my ENME435 phone project, as you can see in the top of the left. And this arrow is supposed, I don't know the significance of it. This is definitely a project that I was behind on this entire semester, and I do apologize for that. But I basically spent all of yesterday and the day before doing it. Got my wisdom teeth removed, which definitely made it a much harder process. Regardless, here's the overview, sensor, collection and processing, and additions. So, overview. The target I chose was this fire hydrant that's pretty close to my house. I did a lot of scanning and test scanning on other similar fire hydrants in the area to just see if I could. I don't want to, even though this one was close to my house, there was one that was closer, so I did a lot of testing there initially. But then I inevitably did end up scanning this guy. That was the first reason. The second reason is that it was kind of behind Susquehanna, which is a more secluded building, I would say. People don't really go there. And while Aspen Heights can be, nightmarishly bright sometimes, the light leaking was actually pretty good, so there wasn't that much to see. And it was close to my apartment. That's where I live, in South Campus Common 7. But let's talk about the sensor that we would be using to capture this, and kind of what LiDAR is. So there was 4 major components. They were all separated in this manner, as you can see. That's a pretty blurry photo, but all the way on the left, at the end of this white wire, you see the camera. Where's my mouse? All the way over here is the camera. Right in the middle is your RPI 4B Plus, which captured all the images and did a sizable amount of processing, I would say, for this assignment. The Arduino, which could have been swapped out for a battery pack. Honestly, it was exclusively for power to the laser, and then our laser. So the laser and camera are how we interact with the environment, and then everything else is just internal in this scenario. So the math behind LiDAR, we have this equation that Dr. Mitchell has so graciously given us, and this is kind of, as we would say, theta in this scenario, right here. If you look at this and you see this as a triangle, you take h over here, then yes, h divided by d is equal to tangent of theta, because SOHCAHTOA, opposite over adjacent, h over d. And then you take that tangent and you make assumptions on how you know it based on A, how much your camera can capture, the field of view, and then other constants that we actually calibrate for later on in this assignment. But it's kind of an interesting idea to use the distance from your quote-unquote vanishing point. This is actually really relevant. I'm doing this in another class I'm in, CMSC 477, but talking about vanishing points and camera frames, and how your vanishing point is somewhere here. So if this laser, which is some distance away, looks like it's there, that means it's an infinite distance away, because this theta has reduced down all the way to 0. Just kind of an interesting thought experiment, and very intuitive, but not something I could have devised myself, I don't think. So this is our alignment or our calibration. As you can see in the bottom, it was a really bright day when I did this data collection, really bright day. The further you get from the wall, the closer that red line gets to the center grade crosshairs. The center crosshairs. The closer you are, the further it gets from the crosshair. The point of your vanishing point, which is right in the middle of your camera in this scenario. So alignment. Here is a photo of me doing it. That's my bed, and I had to borrow my roommate's monitor because I hadn't quite figured out how to SSH super well at this point. This is me scanning the one outside of my house. This is the one that I did tests on, and I admittedly used some of these to create the final mesh because these scans were very, very clean, I would say. And then here's a little quick video showcasing me, just that I did, and these aren't like photos that weren't taken by me or something. But this is right. That brick is the ramp up to Common 7. So this is right outside of my house. It was a very convenient location, and I'm very thankful that I did the fire hydrant because it's a more common building on campus. Okay. Collection and processing. We used Cloud Compare to take, and this looks super perfect. But as I'll explain later, there was more stuff done to make it look like this, but this was kind of the scan that I got. Very vague front, very vague sides. You'll see that in a second, but I used Cloud Compare, which is actually a really intuitive software, honestly. So the main addition I made is that I accidentally scaled the image, which I don't know what happened, but I know that the numbers that I have are different from the numbers I originally had. But it's just the scale of the image is the scale of the whole mesh is different. But to make the mesh more cohesive, I used this code right here for eye and range length of point cloud. So for your every single point in your point cloud, you take your XYZ and you round it to a specific increment. So I was taking, in this scenario, increments of like 0.08 or 0.09. Obviously this isn't to scale, so that if you I would round it, so if it was like 0.91, it would be rounded down to 0.9 through this code right here, because 0.91 divided by 0.9, round it down to 1 times 0.9 becomes 0.9. So I just rounded it to a specified increment, which gives us these really nice plane latitudes. I did this after I had already put all the meshes together. I downloaded that as a text file. If you select a specific cloud, you can download it as a text file again, which was super convenient for me and for the processing of this. So yeah, that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and let me show you a little bit the drag and drop. So you can see right here in the front, this is breaking down a little. That's the front of the hydrant. I don't really know what's going on over there. And the sides, we didn't necessarily get the black. Any of the black caps didn't reflect super well. And I tried to put some paper on it, but it wasn't really working. But I'm pretty happy with what I got. I got the general shape. I got the cap somehow. Somehow I got the cap, and not the front and the sides. But I'm not really sure why that would be. I think that I just did a more very close range scan of the top, and you can see that the rounding I did has made these very, very clear bands all throughout the scan. And the scan is I had to do a lot of cherry picking in terms of the scan that I used. But that's my final project. Thank you so much for a semester of extremely challenging engineering for me. I think one of the classes that did kind of push me to learn more. Yeah, thank you.